Hello and welcome everybody to the Finding Your Voice platform, where we're aiming to bring everybody together in a time of social distancing, social self-isolation at least, and total global lockdown. Today, somebody who I know very well, in fact, is Penny Cheketri. Now, Penny comes originally from Johannesburg, South Africa, and me coming from Cape Town, I promise not to hold it against you for too much. You've been in New Zealand for 15 years. You were a primary school teacher as well as a karate instructor. Very instrumental, might I add, in some of these for me. So thank you very much. And you've moved to New Zealand and you're based in Auckland, and you're a primary school teacher again, and you've been doing tremendously well throughout this COVID time. We're going to talk about that because I think that's quite an intense story that I really want you to tell people. As well as the fact of still teaching karate as well as being a full-time teacher. And you teach it out in South and East Auckland, variety of ages from sometimes preschool, depending on how you're feeling, all the way through to adulthood. And I think your father was one of the potentially the older people that you've had. I'd love for you just to tell us a little bit about that, as well as just COVID hitting. Wow, like, we were just saying before that it's taken me about 2 weeks to get my head into the space where I'm thinking, okay, I think I found my feet again. But you have been going through this and you haven't stopped. You've had to change your entire way of teaching. And I'm panicking because I don't know how to homeschool my child. And you're just like, I've got this, let's give some advice. So Penny, thank you so much for joining in with me today. Really, really grateful for your time. I understand this has been a particularly insane time for you. I'd love for you, tell us quickly the story about your dad, because I think that's so cool. He was such a lovely guy. And then please just tell us what's been happening for you in terms of your new way of teaching.
Okay, well, yeah, hi everybody. And first of all, let me thank you for this opportunity. I think what you're doing is really great, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are really, really valuing this, just being able to hear what others are going through. Yeah, how I did this, wow. I kind of felt like I was sprinting through the classroom teacher, and I'm still sprinting, and sometimes I do feel like I'm that hamster on that wheel just going. So it all started, it was quite surreal. It was Monday. Principal walked into my classroom and said, "Oh, can I just have a word with you?" And I stepped out and she said, "School's closing, the kids aren't back tomorrow." And I had this horrible sinking, my heart just dropped, and I thought,
yeah.
Oh my. And I turned and looked at these little kids in my class and thought, wow, this is real. We've been told it was going to happen. We kind of would be more towards the end of the term. We thought maybe the final week we wouldn't be there. The last thing I expected was on that Monday to be told the kids are going home, and don't tell them, but get them to take as many of their books as they can, but don't let them panic. Walking in and just smiling and saying, "Okay, everybody, well, you know that we've been getting ready, practicing for, when we have to do online teaching. So today I'd like you to take a whole lot of books home." And told the kids on the Tuesday they had to bring the devices in so that we could show them how to work off Teams. That's what we're using. It's take your books home, and when you come tomorrow, we'll practice. Thinking, oh my goodness, knowing full well I wasn't going to see these kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt quite emotional. I remember getting a lump in my throat, not showing it. Off they went. And what did we do? We came together as a staff. We shared ideas. We shared links. We learned how to smile. Learned, just be in front of a camera. And I think our big focus was it's about the kids. It's about their learning, carrying on. Their life is going to change. What it was going to look like, what my life was going to look like. Idea. And took my laptop home, grabbed as many resources as I could, arrived home, looked at my dining room and said, yep, there's my virtual classroom. So everything got shifted out my dining room, and in came all my teaching equipment. My kids moved in with us and my stepdaughter, so I've got them here, which is wonderful. What is it? My life's chaos. And through all chaos, yeah, we just keep going. I think for me, the way I'm going is by trying to connect with the people out there. What I think is really scary with all of this is that you could end up becoming very isolated and alone. And I must say I'm blessed, and I often remind myself of this. And I literally stop each day to count my blessings. And I know it's an old cliche, but I find it really helps, because my blessings are I am able to connect with the kids in my class. I am able to see them online. I'm able to continue to teach them. I am able to offer some normality to their otherwise very different, isolated life. I have my grandkids with me. I have my partner. I have my stepdaughter. I'm connecting with friends through, videoing and messaging. I'm connecting with family. So I find that when everything is just too much, I just step back and go, yes, but remember, these are the wonderful blessings. And I know there's a lot of parents out there who are quite overwhelmed, and I have a good laugh when I see what's on Facebook. As teachers, we see all these comments and parents saying, please, please take them back. And we're like, yes. My advice to parents to cope with homeschooling is, first of all, have a structure. I know with the grandkids, the minute it's the weekend or we've just had Easter and Easter Bunny and it's all exciting, we won't mention it, chocolates. They're all over the place, and they're hyped and they're excited, and they hit the down, and then they're crying, and then they won't do anything. And well, we all know the picture. We all know what kids are like and how they're also trying to deal with their emotions. So as much as you can, have structures. So what we do is we start off the morning at 20 to 9 as my little 2-year-old grandson comes running through shouting, "Exercising, exercising." What we do, we go and do our exercising, and exercising could be the online yoga or the Joe or karate. Sometimes we just do good old karate in the lounge, push the table to one side, there's enough space, let's do it, let's make it happen. And then at 9 o'clock, I've got a little 6-year-old granddaughter, and her lessons start, and no, not with me. I know everybody's sitting going, well, you're a teacher, of course it does. No, not me. Okay, lessons start for the day, and it starts off with a sentence about what she did yesterday. Then it goes on to a spelling sound, which we got chalk and we go and write it out on the deck or paint it on a piece of paper or make it in plasticine, letters, whatever is fun and exciting. Use spelling words. Then it's a matter of reading a book, working on her reading skills. Then something of interest. She loves dinosaurs, she loves science, so find something on YouTube that's suitable for kids, watch that, have a discussion around it, do something, even if it is just draw a picture about it and discuss it. Something, go out into the garden and see what actually happens to the flowers. And then we actually have morning tea like you have at school, where they even get a lunchbox and their little sandwiches in it and their little treat and their apple. And we sit down, and today the weather's not great. Sometimes they'll go and sit outside on the deck and have it. Sometimes it's in the lounge, and then it's free time. It's your playtime. Go and play. Also, I think what parents are trying to do is, the kids' school starts at 9 o'clock and finishes at 3. So kids are thinking, okay, so from 9 until 3, they need to be working. It doesn't happen in the classroom. There is no ways any kid starts schoolwork at 9 and finishes at 3. So I think parents just relax. The children, especially primary school, should be doing 10, 15 minutes, have a break, change to something else. And that's what happens in the classroom. We will teach something for 15 minutes, and then they'll go and do a worksheet around it. And then they'll do something online around it. And then they'll go and do something outside of the classroom. So no teaching happens for hours and hours, and at home even less so. And I think a lot of people feel anxious. My child's going to fall behind, and they're not going to keep up with their learning, and they're having a meltdown day, and they're not wanting to do anything. And, and we have this here as well. Just let it happen. This morning, for example, my granddaughter was not interested in writing a sentence, but she wanted a dinosaur costume. The dinosaur day. She said, let's do things around dinosaurs. I said, brilliant. I hopped onto the computer. I printed some dinosaur worksheets. Suddenly she's happy to do the work. Now all of a sudden she's writing a dinosaur sentence. There's no way to get a three-word sentence out of her. But we grabbed her to do dinosaurs.
So I think, Penny, what I'm hearing from you is you're on the one side of the coin, right? You're the teacher who's now having to teach from home, and I'm the parent who's having to teach from home. And I'm kind of like, okay, so what else do I need to do? Okay, yep. Okay, I think for me, what I'm hearing is that you're giving parents like myself permission to not get it right. We don't have to be perfect at this. We don't need to keep the child occupied from 9 till 3. They cannot concentrate for longer than your 15-20-minute time blocks. That is it. And to almost let them direct their learning. So if there's something that they're interested in, and you're like, that's all right, because with my adult brain, I can somehow work out how we can still write a sentence about this, then absolutely, because then the child's got their motivation to go and the buy-in to actually do something which is educated. What's the word? Education, I guess. Maybe can you come and teach me, please?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, I'll do a Zoom call later on how to spell education. But for example, I've had to restrict my daughter's tablet time, like I was telling you, because I was like, whoa, this is, I don't like this as a babysitter anymore. It worked for the first while, but now actually she starts school tomorrow, virtually. And what does this mean? And so I limited her to time frames. And you know what? She has suddenly become more creative. She went out and taught herself origami. She tried to do some kind of artwork. She's been drawing pictures for her friends. And I'm like, is that all I had to do? Was I just had to limit tablet time? But you see, being on the tablet and on your devices is addictive, right? So they're going to have the opportunity to be on their tablets and devices as part of this online learning that we've all found ourselves kind of forced into. And so they're still going to get their fix from that. But it's about kind of us being open-minded. Like, you have to work as well, right? And I have to work as well. So there's other parents out there who are going, how do I manage having to work from home, having to educate my child for a full day, at the same time? What if I don't have support? What if I am a single parent who's now doing all this, and who's trying to keep their job, and who's trying to prove their worth, and who's trying to be a good mum? Like, all of a sudden, not only is your entire routine in life just kind of, thrown out of the barrel, but you've got a whole bunch of new stuff, and so that's what I'm taking from what it is that you said, that you've given me permission to get it wrong. And if I have that permission, then I feel like I'm going to maybe give something a go, because if I get it wrong, it's okay, but at least I'm trying something.
And children will naturally guide you without even realizing it as to what they're interested in and what you can actually get out of them. And I would suggest have a timetable. And it doesn't have to be what works at school, a timetable that fits into your life and your work time. And in that timetable is tablet time. In that timetable, your child will go, yes, in half an hour, I can be on my tablet, and I've been given permission, and it is my time, and no one can tell me what to do, because that is my. But also timetable the exercise, and let them choose what it is, whether it is on their skateboard, or it's just a run, or it's bouncing the ball. If it's timetabled, it's there. And also don't stress the timetable doesn't work on one day. Sit down and have a discussion and say, look, talk about what they're feeling. You weren't feeling great because of whatever, or mum was having one of those days, I just couldn't, the timetable didn't work, it's okay. Today we'll call chill day, tomorrow we try it. Or, change it. This didn't work for us. Should we change it? Should we put something else in? Should we shift something around? that way, it also gives you the leeway to timetable tablet time when it's going to work for what you need to do as a mum in the home, or around your work, etc., etc. Yeah. Don't stress. Kids will learn. They will learn anyway. It's amazing. Okay. And we have that as adults. We learn all the time. And creative play, even though they often grumble about it, it is actually does them a world of good to say, there's the garden. See you later. Go. Because they will come up with the most amazing games, and they will learn through it. It's a different kind of learning.
Even just getting them to do something like your self-care skills, it's time now to go and shower yourself. Go and work it out. This is how you turn the water on. This is how you make sure it's not too hot. This is how you got to wash your body. So we could be using skills right now to do that. This is come and help me today. We're going to make scones.
Yes.
Let's learn together, and then let's eat them when they're nice and hot. Just one, and let's really enjoy that. We did that, for example. We made date scones. Now, date scones are not my thing, but I had dates, and I managed to have some flour somewhere and some other stuff, and had to go out and buy milk, so I don't drink milk normally. And we ended up making them, and she was like, that wasn't so hard. I want to get my hand there with the butter, and I'm like, don't go too hard, we'll make them like rock scones, and she really, really enjoyed it. And she stuck her finger into one of them, and she was like, that's my one. And I'm like, damn right, that's your one. I'm not having that one with your finger hole in it, and so she gets to have that today for afternoon tea. And so she then has I guess a sense of success, much like what you would have when you're getting educated in the classroom and you finally understand the concept. It's almost the same thing, right? You're creating the same sense of that whole feedback loop with how you're training your mind, I imagine, to to try something new now.
And you've actually, believe it or not, given a science lesson and a maths lesson at the same time.
Exactly, measurements. Yeah.
Mixtures is science. Maths, you're measuring.
Oh, right.
So you've actually done a classroom lesson all in one go.
And a bit of home economics.
There you go, that too. Covering all bases. Yeah.
I saw a meme on. They were like, "Oh no, you can get them to watch Netflix. What you do is you just turn the sound down, you put the subtitles on, and they're reading." I'm like,
I like that. I'm going to use that one. Yeah. I like that idea too. Yeah. So as I was saying, just let the learning happen. It's going to happen in the house constantly. What we did today, because the weather's so bad, took the cars out the garage. There you go, kids. That's now your messy room. The paint is out there. The newspaper's on the floor. We'll clean up the mess at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And creative art is happening in there. Might be all over their face and their legs too, but there we go.
On the garage floor.
Garage, yeah. Hoping it stays on the yeah. And and then the other thing that is really important, as I said earlier, was the exercise. Because even those that are physical will choose to become couch potatoes. It's easy, and I find what it does is it sucks you in. Okay, the television, it sucks you in. It does something, and you end up not feeling good within yourself and emotionally, and yet you just continue on this downward cycle of watching shows, and to the point where both adults and kids are actually mindless. I found myself in that. I've watched a show, and at the end I've sat there and thought, you know what, I could probably give you a vague outline of what actually just happened, because I got drawn into that. So please get yourselves out several times a day. And you know what, the parents owe it to themselves as well, not just for the kids, for them. Get out in the fresh air, go for a walk, go for a run. And I personally turn to karate all the time. I find that just does so much for me. If I'm got this pent up frustration, I just go into the garage, out on the deck, in the garden, or just push the table in the lounge out the way and just do a few of my karate moves, my karate katas, which are like pat. I'm fortunate that my little granddaughter also does karate, a bit reluctantly, but occasionally she'll jump to join in as well, and my partner also. You know, we've got a bit of that going on here at home. Do whatever sport you're interested in, if you love doing, go and do it. It'll help so much.
Now let's talk a little bit about your karate. Now
Yep.
you haven't just got one black belt, right? You've got quite a body full of black belts. Tell us a little bit about your your background with karate and judo, because I think that's really interesting. I'd love to still share the story about your dad, about Pops, because
We'll get to him.
he was such a little legend, right? And then about how on earth COVID has actually affected your karate classes right now, and what it is that you're doing about it. Because I mean, obviously this is a chance for us to be creative with what we're doing, and I'm imagining that with karate you're going to have to do the same. So let's start off with a little bit about, it's not just one black belt, but
I can't actually think about it. I'll have to go through it. I graded to my black belt in something called Shotokan. That was teen years. At the same time, I did judo. I never got a black belt in judo, but I got to brown belt and did a lot of competition. Then judo still influences my karate even today. It's just something that I've taken on board. And the grandmaster that I followed, Terero Chinen Sensei, he was also a judoka, so he brought judo in. So, you know, I continued with that. So, so I got my black belt in that style. Then I moved to what's called the Goju-Ryu discipline. And in there, I managed to get my third dan in Sewakai. And then I joined up with the Jundakan group, and I got up to my fourth dan. Dans meaning degrees or levels of black belt. And I am now currently a direct student of Kaiichi Nakamoto Hanshi, and I have my sixth dan in this Okinawa-kan Goju-Ryu karate. And then I've also got a black belt in something called the JKF, Japanese Karate Federation.
Wow.
Did that many years ago. I think that covers the
was like, and if you call now, but wait, there's more. And I also got, and if you call now, you can have another black belt. Well, I think that you've been doing karate for at least, what is it, 38 years now, and you've been teaching for 30 years. I mean, you are one solid instructor, and with such a gentle way about you, and especially with Goju-Ryu, a lot of it is not about contact, but it's about how you're looking to make yourself better as a person, and how you're looking to be able to defend yourself as opposed to go out there and attack and punch and break stuff and do all that kind of thing. So you're coming from a different paradigm, which is quite good for those parents who are like, I really want to teach my kids karate. I think that they need to know how to protect themselves, and if somebody's stranger danger, someone comes to try and grab them, that they know how to get out of it. But I don't really want them hitting other kids, because that's not so good. Okay, they get into trouble if they do that. But it's about, I guess, the whole education side of things. So you mentioned, of course, that you're teaching in schools in South and East Auckland in New Zealand. But we can't teach physically anymore.
No, we can't.
Well, we shouldn't be, and I mean, I know that you're not. And so you've had to move to Zoom classes. How's that been going?
Look, again, it was oh my goodness, what do I do? And I had a lot of my students, get hold of me and say, we'd love some classes. So I actually started with a very small messenger group, or was it WhatsApp? And then I realized you could only have a very limited number of people on. So I thought, no, there's got to be something out there. And in fact, I think it was you that mentioned that there is Zoom. So I thought, well, let me have a little look at that.
I'll take that.
So thank you.
Yeah, it was me. It was me.
There we go. So I thought, well, let's have a little look at that. And got it up and running. So I made contact with as many of my karate students as possible. But then I had to make this work. And I'm thinking, well, basically the karate I teach, just going back to, it's a non-contact. We teach karate so that people can understand what they can do with their body, how they can further develop their body, both mentally and physically, and understand the parameters and the power and their strength that they have, and how to control it. So that's what we consider non-contact. However, there is some contact and you do learn to defend yourself. So with that, and having Zoom and not being able to have physical contact, it actually was difficult to put together a lesson. But it was about the space, and it was about how do I actually engage the students? How do I make them enjoy their lesson? So I put a lot of thought into that, and I thought, well, I'm going to think about what they have at home, okay, and they have limited space, etc., etc. So what I try to do is think about my lesson within a limited space, and then I got creative. So I did things like I grabbed a string and I tied a little tennis ball to the end of it and put that up, and that became a target that we could punch. So we could aim our punches, aim our kicks at it, something practical that the kids could use. I've got a ball. You can use a ball to punch, to aim, to kick, bounce it off a wall and punch it straight back. Things that would be fun. And what I have been trying to do is give them karate lessons that are of value, that develop them, take them to the next level, but also things that they could go and do at home. Everybody has, here are some great ideas that you can do with a ball and have fun while you're doing your karate. It's also a way to get everybody to come together. And what I try and do with the Zoom classes is whoever joins, I try and greet them all. I try and acknowledge them all, and I try and communicate with them. And I actually do that with my class as well when I'm teaching. When we finish our session, I make a point of saying goodbye to everyone, giving them away, and they do the same thing. So I think it's also important for us to try and keep that connection going, where we're engaging with others through what we have available to us at the moment, because I think we're all missing that connection. And I find that there are days where I'm feeling down and I'm feeling like it's all too much. And then just to be able to connect with my karate students and stand there and go, hey, everyone, how are you? And hear how I'm doing. And sure, they're not going to be saying too much, but at least we've come together as, I like to think of us as a karate family, and we've trained and we've had a bit of a laugh. And I've taken some of their karate technique to the next level, given them something challenging that they can work on at home, given them something fun that they can go and do, and then they come and join us again in a few days' time in the next Zoom class. So
it's almost
that's
like
pretty much how I've done it.
Sorry, carry on.
No. Sorry about that.
I didn't hear. No, that's okay. So it's almost like as the instructor, even if you're not feeling in the space, you kind of fake it till you make it, because you've got a whole bunch of kids, all the way up to adults. I mean, you've got a bunch of adults now as well in your class, because they're also faking it till they make it, and then you're up there, and then they kind of look at you and they go, oh wow, she's into it. Okay, I'm into it, and then you're both getting your energies up, right? And so by the time the end of the class comes, you're like, oh, that was amazing. I'm so glad that I did that. And I mean, that goes for exercise in general. It goes for anything that we're procrastinating about. As soon as we do it, we're just going to feel that weight lift off our shoulders. And then it gives us enough encouragement and motivation to come back again the next time. Because you know that there's going to be a bunch of people, all the kids will be like, hi, sensei, and you're like, no, I remember you used to talk all the time. Now I can just mute you. It's amazing. I've got one.
I see you're talking from a space of experience there.
Yes, yeah. I'm just like, what? Can't hear. It's so good. Shh, doesn't matter. Stop talking. So I think that there's a potential, obviously, that if anybody is watching us, it doesn't matter whereabouts in the world they are, that if they were keen to jump in on a Zoom class, they could actually get hold of you through your Cheketri Karate page, your Facebook page. So that would be CHEKETRI, and then karate, all one word. So that's your Facebook page. They can hit you up with a message, or you might even put something up there if anyone's interested in these classes, to find out. Maybe you've got a free beginners one that we were talking about.
We were chatting about that.
So you can jump onto the Facebook page to go and have a look. The other option would be jumping onto your website, which is www.cheketrikarate.com. and they can send you a message or an inquiry there as well, which
It'll
I
be
think,
great. Come along.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
you
not
know,
too
it's
scary.
also a great, healthy opportunity for the kids and adults really, just to have something during the lockdown.
Yeah.
You can come along. It'd be
Okay,
great to have them.
I'm going to give you your third this is the third and last and final chance that I'm going to now mention your dad. All right,
I was just going to talk about it.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how old you are.
No,
with karate.
Okay. Funny story with my dad. I'd been doing karate for close to 30 years. On his 80th birthday, he turns around, he says to me, I think I should do karate. I remember standing there going, you wait until you turn 80 to tell me you want to start karate. Yes, he says, I think I can do it. I was like,
I am now ready.
Let's do it. And Laura knew him well, and he was that sort of character.
Yeah.
And he managed to do it for around about 3 years.
Yeah.
One thing I used to do was grade him. So I always used to get one of my other black belts to grade him. Yeah. And he managed to get halfway to black belt.
So he got to his black belt?
Yes. Yeah, he did.
Wow. I mean, what an achievement, right? So anybody who's sitting back there going, oh, no, karate, no, I've missed that boat. Well, apparently you've not missed that boat. So, you know, so he would have done it until he was at least 83. Yeah. And the good thing, I guess, about the karate that you teach and that you practice is that you go at the level that you're able to go. So if you've got an injury, or if you've got, you know, some kind of, you can't bend your knees, or you've had a hip replacement, or whatever the deal is, then you don't do low stances, or you don't drop down to the ground, or, you know, you just, you know, and I think that's so inclusive of such an inclusive sport, really. You know, it's not about.
I believe karate is for everyone, and if you just, as an instructor, you look at what the person can do, and then you work with that and show them that the technique that others are doing can be done, but in a different way, and it must be practical, and it must work, and it must be something they enjoy.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you were to, and thank you so much for your time today. I'm so surprised that your grandkids haven't come popping in and disturbing you. So they're either fast asleep, or your partner's been hard out going, don't you go in there, do you understand?
One's asleep and the other one has been told, don't come in yet, no way. Really
you will get homework.
Pretty much.
You will have to write 2 sentences. So do you have anything, based off everything that we've said today, do you have anything that's your top tip, or your top takeaway for anybody who's watching, just to help them get through the next bit of lockdown?
Yeah, you know what? You can do it. You've got this far. You can do it. Take the pressure off yourselves. You are allowed a day where you don't do anything. Your kids are allowed a day or a couple of moments a day where they just don't want to. We're all in this together, and I think something that I believe in life is you don't have to do anything alone. Reach out to people. There are so many people, like Laura's got this. If this helps, let others know. You know, talking about it, hearing others talk about it, hearing about their experiences. Just be you, and just embrace what comes your way. Look at what you're presented with and go, how can I make this work for me? How can I make this work for my family? And please remember, you are just as important as your kids. If you are okay and you are strong and you are managing, they will be too. So, you know, a lot of parents are wonderful, but what they do is they put everybody else first and they forget about themselves. Please remember, you're just as important, and you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to relax, have those moments, and then you pick up and you go again.
I love that. Thank you so much. Yeah, really appreciate your time. Penny Cheketri from Cheketri Karate. Look her up. She's not too scary. Hey. Yeah, she smiles now, but no, but but no, thank you so much, and from on behalf of the Finding Your Voice platform, really happy that you were able to come on board and just share your conversation with us. It's so beneficial to anybody out there who's wondering how on earth do I do this, and what on earth is actually happening on the other side of the spectrum with teachers as well. So thank you so much. Really do wish you all the very best.
And thank you for creating this for all of us.
Thanks so much. Bye for
Thank you,
now.
Laura.
Bye.
Bye.